All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm going to call the May 6, 2026 meeting of the Auburn School Committee to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll start down here on my right with introductions.
Ian Poisson, Ward 5.
Lydia Chapman, Ward 4.
Ms. Dietschke, Ward 2.
Pamela Albert at large.
Sue Doris, Superintendent.
Pat Gaudier, Ward 3.
Jay Rich, at large.
Adam Platt, City Council Representative.
Amanda Kuchar, Business Manager.
Scott Anier, Assistant Superintendent.
And Corin McGuigan cannot be here tonight. I'm going to start tonight. I'm going to hand it over for our recognitions. We have a handful tonight. And so, Val, would you like to come up and do recognitions?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We're here tonight, myself and Mr. Bill Buzza, who's my department chair for the art and music department at the high school, to provide some special recognitions. We've had some tremendous young people accomplish some great things this year. We had a tremendous drama program this year with the fall musical, the one acts, and the spring play. And we've had some wonderful success in the music department in terms of districts and all-state, and Bill's going to speak to that, as well as a staff recognition of Mr. Steve Amoroso that Bill will explain in just 1 minute. So I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Bill Buzza to share in our wonderful accomplishments this year.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to kind of shout out from the rooftop the pride we have for our students and our staff. I want to start with Mr. Amoroso. Recently, Mr. Amoroso was named the Maine High School Art Educator for the Maine Arts Education Association. So we're very proud of that, and I just want to talk a little bit about what that award means and some of the reasons he was accepted. Yeah, come on up, Steve. So these awards are given out at the elementary, middle, and high school level for our educators of the year. And these awards are for teachers with more than 3 years of art teaching experience who demonstrate excellence in teaching, art making, connecting with community, advocating for art education, and participating in professional organizations, including the Maine Arts Education Association. And having seen Steve work over the last few years, I think all those descriptors fit him extremely well. I know he participates every year. He goes and he's the official photographer for the state conference. He's done a lot of work with that. He's a part of our AVEC cohort that has kids go every month or so to work with other students from the region on special projects, and he's been a voice for our school and our students in that. And he's he teaches all our technology-related arts classes, so digital media class, broadcasting media, and all those classes, we looked at numbers for next year, and they are overflowing. We have a waiting list of probably 100 students. So it speaks a lot to the quality of the education that he gives our kids and for our community. So we're very proud to see he was awarded the official award, I think, at the end of April, down in Belfast at the State Art Education Conference. So congratulations, Steve. We're very proud of you. As Val said, we like to spotlight some of our students and share with you some of the things we do over the course of the year. So looking back over the past year, we have students accepted to the District 2 level festivals as well as the state. A lot of people don't understand the difference there. District 2, so there's 7 districts across the state of Maine. District 2 encompasses basically Androscoggin, Cumberland, and Franklin County, and over towards the Oxford Hills region. So there's about 35 school districts that are involved. And so we had this year for the elementary festival, we had 12 students in the band and 5 in the choir. Those are all by recommendation. So each teacher submits a list of names. They look at how many each school has basically in their program, so they have a representative sample. And then the Auburn Middle School, we had 4. So at the high school and middle school, they have to audition. So in October, they go and they perform for a set of judges, and then a couple weeks later, they get the score back and they narrow it down. The middle school had 4 in the band and 12 in the choir. The high school, we had 4 in the band, 15 in the choir, and we had 2 in the District 2 Honors Jazz Choir. And we hosted the District 2 Vocal Festival back at the end of February, so we were very proud of that. And people, of course, love our space. They asked to come back, so we'll probably be hosting something every year for eternity. And then we had students audition for the All-State Festival. Again, similar to District 2, but it's obviously at the state level. So we've got students from all across the state, which is very, very challenging to get into a state level festival. And I have several of those students were able to join us tonight to get the recognition. So as I go through the list of students' names, and I'd be glad to share this with the council members, I'll pass it on to Dr. Doris to distribute. And if the students are here, if you could just stand, and we'll give you an applaud at the end. And come on, come on up, actually, right now. So we have, having made the Jazz All-State, we had 4 students. Steph Koshis, who received the top scoring guitarist in the state, could not be here tonight. Richard Kavi was chosen as the lead trumpet player in the jazz band, could not be here tonight. We are fortunate to have Lucas Gardner, who is in the mixed choir, and Eli Carver, who is also in the mixed choir. At the All-State Band and Choir Festival, so that's happening at the University of Maine next week, we had 7 students chosen. Tegan Bartle Levine in the choir, Simon Barton in choir, Megan Ackley, who's here tonight. In the choir, Olive Horton. In the choir, Lucas Gardner again. In the choir, Eli Carver. In the choir, and Richard Kavi in the choir. So if we could give those students a nice round of applause. I'll have them stay up here for a moment. The jazz band also went on to the state, qualified for the State High School Instrumental Jazz Festival. We went on and received a silver medal. We were very proud of that. And again, Steph Kochis was awarded an Outstanding Musicianship Award, which is a very rare award. In fact, it's the first time an EL student had ever received one. So we're very, very proud of Steph Kochis. These students were also involved in the one-act play this winter. So the way the one-act works is we have a regional festival where they go and perform, which was at Skowhegan. And then one school of that group of 7 or 8 schools, right, go on to the state festival, which this year was held at, where was it held at? Wyndham, yes, thank you, Wyndham. And so they did well. They had a great performance. We didn't really know what to expect because EL has not been to a state festival since 1990. So we're really proud of them for 36 years since we were there. So they did a great job. And Renee Davis is our director. She's a teacher at Auburn Middle School, but she directs the high school one-act group as well as musical. And at the festival, we had a couple students recognized for all festival casts. So the judges look at all the plays and figure out which actors really did a great, outstanding job. And we had Haley Farr Howard was one who cannot be here tonight. And Lucas Gardner received all festival casts. So yes. Unable to be here, we had Miles Luce, who is a freshman, was recognized for commendation by the judges for sound effects. So we're really proud of them. So, and then if you guys want to sit down now, you can. Thank you. Great job. Again, this year we submitted an application to a national organization called the National Association for Music Merchants to be considered as the best community for music education. It's a pretty in-depth application. I think it was about 20 pages long and like 120 questions. We looked at everything from budgets to school enrollments and Title I students. It's a very comprehensive look that Dr. Doris and Mr. Neer helped me a lot with, as well as all the music staff. And I'm very proud to announce that we are one of only 4 high school departments in the state of Maine who are recognized as the 2026 Best Community for Music Education. So we're really proud of that. Those are our Performing Arts Awards. I just want to take a moment to highlight some of our visual art recognitions, as well as Mr. Amoroso. We had a student, Lyra Raymond, who many of you may know, had a piece of art selected by the Portland Museum of Art for their Youth Art Month, which I think was in March, or was it March, Steve? And we had Eliana Brady was chosen to attend Haystack, which is, again, a statewide opportunity. If they take one student from every high school around the state, whoever, the schools that want to participate, and bring them together to work with artists in a craft of their choice. And she's chosen blacksmithing, so that's kind of exciting. And I think she's actually taking some classes at the New England School of Metalwork, so it's a nice connection with the art and the hands-on piece. And I also want to mention that the Honors Art class will be having a display at the LA College Atrium Gallery, opening next Thursday over in Lewiston. So if you have a little bit of time, you're over in Lewiston, want to stop by there, they'd love to see you. They're having an opening, I think it's next Thursday, Steve? At 6 o'clock? So Any questions? Thank you very much for your time and for your support. Definitely the students greatly appreciate and everything you do to keep us being creative. So thank you.
Thank you both for that presentation, and congratulations to all of our students who have accomplished so much, and Mr. Amoroso for being named Educator of the Year. I'm going to move on now to public participation. Do I have anyone here who would like to address the Auburn School Committee this evening? I just have one quick thing to read before you start. Please keep in mind that public comment is designed to be not designed to be a discussion, but an opportunity for the school committee to listen. I ask that you maintain civility and respect, keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and refrain from commenting on any specific school personnel as prohibited by our policy and state and federal privacy laws. When stepping to the podium, please state your name and your affiliation with the Auburn School Department. Welcome.
Good evening, committee. My name's Ron Potvin, a former school committee member here in Auburn from between 2008 and 2014. And presently I serve as the Chief Operating Officer for the Store Next Door. Store Next Door is a nonprofit that supplies resources to the homeless population of the children in the schools to keep them in school and to graduate them. We started out in Lewiston and eventually expanded into the Longley building, of which we created the Resource Center, which productively operates today. After separating from them, we opened up our Regional Resource Center on Blake Street and expanded our services to the adjacent school districts, including Auburn. Our operations in Auburn basically have been focused at Park Avenue, at Food Pantry, and working with the liaison, Sasha Anastasov, with all the needs in the rest of the district. Last year we provided about $12,000 of assistance. This year our budget is for $18,000. We're looking to increase that. That being said, what drives me here today is the board and the donors got together and we decided when we created the regional entity, we were hoping we would get more involvement, and that has not been the case. And our experience has led us that when we were in Lewiston, we were in the school, and being in the school is where the rubber meets the road. The children are more comfortable with their peers, they're more comfortable with those teachers that assist them. Being an independent organization, it didn't really go the way we wanted it to go. The assistance is still there. We still assist Lewiston, Auburn, and Turner, and looking forward to a couple others down the road. That being said, we carry a very large overhead at Blake Street, and what we've considered is a very unnecessary overhead in providing services, because we're a fiscal agent that can raise money for the schools, such as we did in Lewiston, and provide it directly without cost. We don't charge anything. We show up, we make the connections, we get you guys the money and the resources. That being said, we're going to close up our Blake Street facility at the end of the summer. And the board thought about the idea of what donors have talked to us about, getting back to the school where the rubber meets the road. So the Store Next Door would like to make a pitch to the Auburn School Committee to consider starting up a Store Next Door Auburn inside the school district itself. We're already on the curve. We already assist Park Ave. We already assist the high school, and funding is already there. We have 6 rooms of materials, of clothing, food, toiletries, and half of it is almost brand new. We would hate to shut our place down come September and those resources get lost. Ideally, it would be great if you said, yeah, let's have a Store Next Door in Auburn. I know the logistics are virtually impossible with such limited room, and of course there's labor that's involved. Lewiston designated 2 positions to work at the store next door or the resource center, handling the resources. So what we would ask is for a discussion to take place with the committee and the superintendent about at least trying to work out a logistic to take the supplies that we already have. We're talking shoes, we're talking jackets, backpacks, et cetera, so on, educational supplies. And it's all free of charge. It's already raised for you guys. And then at that point, we would help in any distribution and continued fundraising for Auburn. And then, we just want a productive next step for us. And this allows us to get rid of the overhead that is just unnecessary to carry a resource center. So getting back into the school, I think, makes sense. And where your support people throughout your schools can come right directly to wherever that location would be and not worry about coming across to the bridge in Lewiston, So we just thought it would be a good discussion to have and see if we can't come to some. So I look forward to further discussion on this and hope you seriously consider it and let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Dr. Doris will probably follow up with you after this.
I will.
Thank you. Do I have anyone else who'd like to address the Auburn School Committee this evening? Okay, seeing none, we are going to move on to, I missed the consent agenda. I am so sorry. So I'm going to start with, move back to the consent agenda, which I missed. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of tonight's agenda, the approval of the minutes of the April 15th, 2026 meeting, as well as the approval of the minutes of the April 29th, 2026 meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Pat, do I have a second?
Second.
Jay, all those in favor? Consent agenda approved. All right, moving on. We do not have a presentation this evening, and we do not have a school committee student representatives report, so we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chairperson Albert. I have 3 items tonight. The first is an update on the school budget and the AMS bond. On Monday evening, the City Council approved the school budget with a 6-to-1 vote, and the Council also approved the first reading of the AMS project bond with the second reading scheduled for May 18th. This means that we now move forward with the budget validation referendum on June 9th. I would like to say thank you again to everyone involved in this process, as well as to the mayor, city manager, and city council for their partnership and support. The next item that I have tonight is the graduation date, which is quickly approaching. This year's graduation ceremony will take place on Saturday, May 30th at 7 p.m. at the EL Stadium. In the event of rain, the ceremony will be held at the Norway Savings Bank Arena. All school committee members are invited to attend, and you will be receiving tickets at our next meeting. Any questions about those 2 items before I move on to the third? Okay, as you may have heard, this week is Staff Appreciation Week, and I want to recognize the extraordinary dedication of the entire Auburn School Department team. Their professionalism, compassion, and commitment shape the experiences and futures of our students every day. So I want to say to all the Auburn School Department staff, thank you for the countless ways you inspire excellence across our schools, and thank you for all that you do. And now I will turn it over to Chairperson Albert.
Thank you, Dr. Doris. I don't have a chairperson's report tonight other than to reiterate on behalf of the school committee members a thank you to all of our staff and teachers in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you for all that you do. We are so lucky to have such dedicated educators in this community. Moving on, our committee reports are linked. The policy subcommittee agenda and minutes from the April 28th meeting are linked. I don't think we'll bother to do a summary of those since both of the agenda items from those minutes are on our new business. And then we have the curriculum subcommittee agenda from today's meeting linked. So those minutes will be linked on our next meeting agenda. We do not have any old business tonight, so we're going to move on to new business. So I'll entertain a motion to approve policy AUB GBQ, Maine paid family and medical leave, for a first reading. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Adam, do I have a second? Dan? Anyone want to give a quick update summary on this policy?
Yes, basically, new policy, just temperature in the schools.
This is paid family and medical leave. Getting ahead of us, Dan.
Just a new policy on the Maine family policies for medical leave. And I think isn't it already in the teacher's contract?
It is.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So, that's just, I guess it's just following the statute of that.
Does anyone have any? Yep, Adam.
I just had a question on the red line, the addition of the 120 days. I know that is the state statute. Had that not been defined by the state when we first wrote this, or did we just not have it in there? I'm just curious why it was added as opposed to having existed from the start.
It was suggested it be at the beginning, even though it was in the statute, just to remind staff, if they're considering this, that they would have to have been employees of the school department for 120 days.
So no change in policy, just optics on where it presents in the policy. Okay.
I also want to make a note that what you see in red is something that we changed in the policy sample that was provided to us. So this is a brand new policy, so we're not changing anything that we had, but if we decided we needed to add something or change something, that's in red.
I think my only question is, I just want to make sure that it's in line with our teacher contract. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Any other thoughts, Jay?
Yes. If folks aren't using their PTO time, I guess, are they still paid the same amount if they're on leave, or is it a decreased amount?
The paid family medical leave only covers a certain percent. It really depends on what their weekly wages are to tell them what the state will cover. And then, of course, one of the pieces that we have in this policy in red allows them, if they have paid time off, for us to supplement that percent from the state to cover their daily rate. So it really just depends on if they want to use their paid time off for that. It's not required.
So would it be like day for day, or would it just be like, well, they're covering 70%, we'll give them 30%, and then I know that's a lot of fun math for you to do.
That's a lot of fun math. But that is what we will be doing, is whatever the percent is that they need for that day. It would be, 30% of a day's PTO.
Anyone else have any thoughts or questions before we vote on this one? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor of approving policy AUB GBQ, Maine paid family and medical leave, for a first reading? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve policy AUB EBBD, temperature standards for schools, for a first reading. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Seconded.
Lydia? Okay, second. Adam? Okay, so Dan, do you want to give a quick summary of this
I
one?
had that confused. Yeah, just explaining the minimum temperature and the maximum temperature, and then keeping it within 5 degrees. And
Yep.
New policy.
I have one question about this. I think it's just in the wording, as it was a little unclear to me in the fourth paragraph down, where it says, when temperatures in the building as a whole or in a classroom or other occupied spaces exceed the maximum comfort zone by 5 degrees, then schools are expected to take the next measures. I read that as only exceeding the maximum temperature, not when it drops below the minimum temperature by 5 degrees. Was that the intent of the language here, that it was a 5-degree spread up or down?
Up or down.
Okay,
Yeah.
So basically these measures are supposed to be implemented within 5 degrees above the 82 or 5 degrees below the 68.
Yes.
So I think it probably just needs to be wordsmithed slightly for clarity. So I'm going to make a motion to send this back to the policy subcommittee so that they can wordsmith this just for clarity, and then bring it back to us for an official reading. Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Can I have a point of order?
Yes, sorry.
We have 2 motions on the floor right now. I think we can only have one at a time.
No,
Is that
we
correct?
we can vote on this amendment, but then we have to finish out the second one that you're referring to.
I think to send back to the committee, though, I don't think we do we?
That would end the first motion.
Do you know, Sue?
I think we'd have to approve what you have on the floor and then table or postpone the original motion, I think.
Okay,
Can we still ask questions, though, about the original motion?
sure.
Because I do have questions about the policy in general.
Yep.
I guess the 68 to 82 degree, what's that based on? I'll admit, I'm asking that as someone who keeps their house at 50 degrees and wears a parka. But, I mean, 82 seems absurd to me. And saying that we go 5 degrees above that before we even trigger, we get building up to 87 degrees. That's tropical. I'm just curious where the numbers.
I think Mr. Neer can give us some background.
Sure. So it is a new policy that just came through last session, not this most previous one, but the start of the session 1. And as it came through, we've had discussions with our region of how to tackle this to try to get some common ground so that there wasn't an outlier one way or the other. And there's lots of ways that it can be interpreted because the policy itself doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of teeth to it. It's just establishing what those guidelines would be and then working with the building and the building administrator on any type of mitigation strategies on the upside or the downside one way or the other. And so for many, they talked about what could we feel comfortable with, 65 to 85, because when you read the policy, it does talk a lot about every building is very unique and has its own nuances with HVAC and stuff, and so not to make things too tight and not to make things too wide. And so I worked with our systems operation manager, John McGinley, who works with us with the city, as well as Mark Kelly from our maintenance departments, to really try to get a sense, where do we typically land? And they were comfortable with 68 or 65. Our settings are at 68. That doesn't mean that it doesn't make its way down to 65 sometimes. The setting on the other side is more in the 70 range, but that doesn't mean that we're in the shoulder seasons, the spring and summer, where we get wide ranges. You could find a classroom, remember the old yell, where it could get jacked up pretty high without any remedies behind it or mitigation strategies. So just to try to find where that balance was going to land, and they felt like 85 isn't out of the realm without knowing the 5-degree swing that we're kind of talking about on the up or the down, that if we're trying to create a policy, what could actually happen? I totally agree that 85 feels very uncomfortable in a classroom. However, what would you want to put on paper to be able to say, this could happen in our school?
I asked the question just to say it doesn't have a lot of teeth. I mean, it's a policy, but it's not necessarily driving a change in our action, and that's what I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that John doesn't read this and say, all right, I'm jacking it all up to 80, and we're going to spend another $100,000 on oil this year.
I think when we had the conversation, like I said, the low setting is at 68 for the buildings, and Mark was like, I'm quite comfortable with that. And in the policy subcommittee meeting, we had the discussion with one of the administrators, and it's quite common if a temperature feeling gets high or low, folks know about it right away, and mitigation strategies are instantly happening where we're coordinating with either the custodial staff or the maintenance staff of what do we need to do in regards to a high or a low. So it's trying to establish a number on paper, but when those shifts happen, up or down, building administrators hear about it right away, and so action happens right away.
No, that makes sense. I just want to make sure this wasn't a suggestion to those in charge of the thermostats to hit that 82-degree mark.
There is no setting for 85. There's no setting for 82.
I guess
it could happen, but it's not set that way.
That's fair. I guess then to piggyback off Pam's comment of wordsmithing, I don't know if we need to define the 68 to 82 degrees. When I read it, I read it as the thermometer temperature, that whole thermometer not setting. So I don't know if there's a difference between what setting is and what the reading is, because I could understand setting a thermostat at 80 degrees, it's 55, and you need to heat it up quickly. So I don't know if that needs definition between the two readings, or again, if this is just a general suggestion of the range that is most comfortable for
From my
students.
understanding, the policy that we received from MSMA, it was that the way the statute was established was to have a range in there. So it left it up to any school district to determine what your range was going to be from a low to a high. And I can say that the majority are pretty comparable to this. There's some that are 40 to 99. They run the gamut around the state, having explored and looked at what some other folks have done. And again, looking around to our region, they're pretty consistent with this. And again, I come back to the way it was written, it was about having a range.
I'm satisfied with that. Thank you.
So just to clarify, the motion I'm making is technically called a motion to commit or refer back to committee, which means that we vote on that motion and the original motion is then paused until it comes back to this committee. So I made the motion. Who seconded it? Pat seconded the motion to refer this back to our policy subcommittee. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, all of our upcoming meetings are listed on the agenda, with our next regular school committee meeting on Wednesday, May 20th. Do I have any future agenda items or requests for information? Jay?
Yes, thank you. I know that access test scores have come out, and so I was just wondering if our ML director could come and share some of the successes.
They would be
Yes.
ecstatic
Yes,
to
they
be
would.
able to do
Okay,
that.
please
The
bring them.
scores are starting to come in, and just what she shared hasn't been locked in as official, and we still had a few things to tidy up there, but they will be ecstatic to come share some information.
I would love to hear from her, and then if any other MLL teachers are available to come speak to the program, I'd love to hear from them too, or principals. Thank you.
Great, thank you. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jay, do I have a second? Dan? All those in favor? And we are adjourned at 6:32. Thank you, everyone.